All right, everyone, welcome back. It is that time in the month again. A new Boruto chapter has dropped. Boruto Two Blue Vortex, Chapter 11, True Power. And for this chapter, we have Hidari on the cover. Pretty cool. I like the yellow color scheme they went here with the Chidori in the background. This looks pretty dope. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into this. So this chapter, really not much to discuss. There is some stuff that happens, but overall it's a very slow chapter. So we pick up where we left off last time with JURA, HIMAWARI, and Team 10. JURA was chasing them out into the forest. Inojin got stabbed. He got murked. As we see here, he is still just dead on that spike right there. He's just laying there kind of hanging out. But Himawari unlocked the Nine Tails power. She has entered some kind of Jinchuriku form as her hair kind of takes the shape that Kushina's used to, and she would use the Nine Tails power where the hair kind of forms into the Nine Tails. And the chapter kind of starts off with a big question that we had last chapter being answered immediately. So Himawari gets out of the tree trap, or the wood trap that JURA put her in, and Shikadai notices that Himawari's leg is completely healed, the same leg that JURA broke in the last chapter. So this already shows us that Himawari has some kind of healing capability. And then she goes and frees Inojin off of the tree spike he was on. And not only does she free him from the tree spike he was on, she heals him. Completely closes the wound, but she does tell Team 10 to go ahead and take Inojin to the hospital anyways, because she's not sure if she healed him properly or not, so she would still want him to get checked out anyways. And then Shikadai is confused. He's basically asking Himawari what is going on. What's this new power you have? Himawari says that she's not sure, but she's gonna try her best to find out what it is. Chocho says, "What do you mean by that?" Himawari basically says that she's gonna fight JURA all by herself, because JURA is basically only targeting her, which means Team 10 can get away and not have to worry about being in danger. Chocho doesn't like this plan. She instantly says, "I'm not gonna go," but Shikadai convinces her and tells her, "We have to leave. We're just gonna be in the way, especially with an injured Inojin, so we're not any help." Basically, Shikadai says that this is just a matter of minimizing our losses, because instead of having Team 10 die with Himawari, if she does face JURA, it would just be Himawari dying. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, he has a point. It's just minimizing losses. And JURA says something very interesting here. He says he compliments Shikadai for making that choice, and he says that he will remember his name and that they'll meet again someday. So, JURA is already taking a very big liking to Shikadai, and he even says he'll remember his name, which I think is a very high form of respect coming from JURA. So, could it be possible that maybe JURA is going to end up being a huge, or like the main enemy of Shikadai, like his main person he fights, you know? For example, like how in Shippuden, Shikamaru and... oh my god, I'm forgetting his name. The guy who worshipped Joshi. The guy who could do his face paint, the one that Shikamaru buried in the Nara forest. What was his name? Is it Hayden? God, I feel like a fake fan for not remembering, but I think I know. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. But maybe this will be Shikadai's Akatsuki member. I really feel bad for not remembering his name. But regardless, Chocho keeps trying to fight the choice. Himawari tells her, "Look, Chocho, I don't want to be by myself either, but with this power that I just unlocked, I have to carry out the responsibility that comes with it." Essentially, Himawari is saying here, with great power comes great responsibility, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that. And Chocho eventually decides to relent and give in to that choice. And so with that, Chocho, Shikadai take Inojin with them and they escape, and Himawari gets prepared to face JURA all by herself. Now, JURA says that basically he does feel interested in this power, and which means he's going to unleash his full strength, or at least a part of his full strength, because Himawari has intrigued him with this power that she has quickly unlocked. And then we get a little fight between them. Nothing too major. Himawari lands a few punches, sends JURA flying, and then we get this cool little shot where JURA's like flying around Himawari, and Himawari gathers her hair to kind of focus around a center point right here. As you can see, she kind of like puts it all right on top of her forehead. And then in the next shot, we see that she is charging up a tailed beast bomb. And JURA, in response, charges up a tailed beast bomb from his eye while he's flying backwards away from Himawari, which just looks super dope. Himawari then proceeds to aim up because JURA is flying up and away from her in order to put some distance between them. In order to put some distance between them. And we get this great shot of two tailed beast bombs clashing against each other, causing a huge explosion in the air. Shikadai looks back and admires just the power that is being put out by that fight right now. Neither one of the combatants are injured by this clash of the blast. JURA continues to compliment Himawari, saying that he's impressed that she's able to control the Biju bomb and how she has the power to restore herself. And he's very curious about how Himawari managed to do all this so quickly with the Nine Tails power. But regardless, JURA decides to stop playing around, and he goes in on the attack. He headbutts Himawari, and then he slams her into the ground with a powerful kick to the back. And JURA basically says, this is a first. I'm now unleashing some of my real power because you're the one who's able to withstand it. We then get a cut back to the Hidden Leaf Village where Hidari, Sarada, Sumari, and Konohama are at. Sarada's trying to interrogate Hidari right now because Hidari does have a fatal wound from the Chidori that Sarada managed to hit him with in the last chapter. And Hidari, without really answering anything, just goes straight into the belts, and he comes right back out completely healed, no effect from the Chidori at all. Everyone is shocked to see this. And then Hidari proceeds to speak, asking Sarada if the eyes that she has are the Sharingan. And if the Sharingan is what allows her to control the Chidori, the attack that he used, because he has trouble controlling the Chidori. Which, if you guys remember, Chidori requires the Sharingan to be able to use because of the high speed. You can't really control yourself, but with the Sharingan you're able to use the visual prowess of the technique to be able to stop yourself from getting counterattacked, or be able to better control yourself due to the fact that the Sharingan, you can kind of see what's coming, or you get a better idea of what's going to happen next. Sarada is confused about why why Hidari is asking about the Sharingan, and then Konohama steps up and says, "You never answered our questions. Who are you? Or rather, what is your connection to Sasuke?" And Hidari, this has surprised me. Hidari doesn't know who Sasuke Uchiha is. And Hidari gets a little mad because they keep asking him what he considers ridiculous questions. So I thought the 10-tailed clones remembered who they were based off of, but I guess they don't, because yeah, Hidari seems to have absolutely no idea who Sasuke is, despite the fact that he was born from Sasuke being trapped. And then Hidari proceeds to say, "You want to know who I am? Well, I'm trying to figure that out as well. That's why I came to Konoha." And this part right here really made no sense to me. Sumari has a realization, and she tells Konohama that they have to protect Sarada because Hidari's target is Sarada, and she knows it for a fact. That kind of confused me. I don't get why she was able to deduce that. I mean, he did take an interest in Sarada, but I don't know, it just seems kind of random that she would just randomly come up with that. There might be something I'm missing, maybe from last chapter I'm not remembering, but regardless, we get a cutaway to this belt that is right behind Sarada's foot, and Hidari reaches his hand through and uses a lightning release to completely shock Sarada and catch everyone off guard. No one saw this coming. We then cut to the next scene. One of the shinobis that are with them tries to use an earth-style technique, and Hidari, without hesitation, uses a fireball jutsu to completely engulf this leaf shinobi in fire and burns him to a crisp. Konohama gets mad and charges in with his own Rasengan. Hidari uses the belts to teleport behind Konohamaru to avoid the Rasengan. Hidari then uses the Chidori once more, and believe it or not, our boy Konohamaru gets a chance to shine here a little bit. Compared to what he's usually treated like in the manga so far, I say this is a step up. We get to see Konohamaru use a brand new technique, the Wind Style Rasen Barricade. So he basically uses the Rasengan and the spiraling like technique of it to create a barrier. It kind of reminds me of the Hyuga's rotation technique, except instead of around his whole body, he's projecting it from his hand. I think it's super cool. It stops Hidari from stabbing Konohamaru with the Chidori, yet Konohamaru still does take the knockback, and he does get sent flying back and slams into a wall. But regardless, I think that's a pretty cool technique. It's cool to see that Konohamaru did get something new, and he wasn't just immediately washed without any fight. Granted, he kind of did get washed immediately without a fight, but regardless, Konohamaru at least showed something cool. I think this is a cool technique. I like the name of it. I like the name of it as well, Wind Style Rasen Barricade. Pretty cool technique. I hope to see more of it in the future. Sumari comes up to Sarada to try to help her up, and when she does, Hidari comes up right behind Sumari and proceeds to shock her with the same lightning release that he did to Sarada. And Sarada is unable to move. Her body is not responding to her at all. We then cut back to Himawari and JURA, and JURA just absolutely nails Himawari with this insane backhand slap to the face. Like, it is just bam. And then right here, I don't really know what's going on. It looks like JURA hits her with like a tail beast bomb or like some chakra that blows away her shirt but not her body. But then JURA proceeds to comment about her insane regenerative ability. So maybe what JURA did was he used a small tail beast bomb to blow a hole in Himawari, and she instantly healed it to where we couldn't even see it. That makes the most sense to me. I don't know, the way that was drawn just looked a little awkward. But JURA basically says Himawari's healing ability is far beyond what a human or even a Jinchuriki could do. It's more of what the actual like tailed beast itself is capable of. Which is interesting to note, that it seems like Himawari is closer to a tailed beast itself rather than being a Jinchuriki. So I guess that would be the explanation as to why she was able to use tail beast bomb and have access to these regenerative abilities so quickly on our first time unlocking this form. But regardless, this is the first time Himawari has transformed. She's getting weak. She's spending a lot of chakra to heal. We get a shot of baby Kurama or young Kurama, however you want to call him. I kind of like young Kurama. I'm going to go ahead and say that. Young Kurama talking about how JURA is a bigger monster than he's expected and he can't beat him just based off of Himawari's potential. And that they're basically outmatched right now in terms of like experience and skill. We then cut to Kawaki and Delta flying towards Himawari because they're trying to go save her, and Delta is telling Kawaki, what are we gonna do? This guy just beat the shit out of you. What's the point of going there? And Kawaki says, I'll do whatever I can. And Delta says, but that's my point. What exactly can you even do? And before Kawaki even gets a chance to answer, our goat, our savior, Boruto, just immediately speeds right past both of them as he flies past them, and Kawaki is shocked. He's just like, whoa, Boruto? So Boruto is back in action. He's done with his karma. He's managed to get it back under control, and he's flying in. And as we see, he's flying in to save Himawari. JURA gets caught off guard by this. Boruto scoops Himawari off the ground and continues to fly away. JURA just lets it happen. He doesn't really react to it. We cut back to Hidari and Sarada. Hidari proceeds to wrap Sarada up in a tree. It seems like what he's about to do is put her into a tree and turn her into a Ten Tails clone as well. And he's wondering what knowledge he would gain from devouring or turning Sarada into a tree. You know, like what of her memories and abilities can he gain from this? And Sarada manages to notice that up on the power line above or behind Hidari, there is a toad. And the toad is carrying a square piece of metal. We then cut back to Boruto. Inside his collar, we see one of Toshikagen's toes, toads talking to him, saying that we've confirmed Sarada's location, the symbol is a square, and Boruto proceeds to use Flying Raijin's jutsu, or the teleportation technique, and he immediately teleports to Sarada and Hidari with Himawari in tow. He proceeds to pull out his sword while still carrying Himawari, mind you, and he slices Hidari's hand clean off, getting him off of Sarada, saving Sarada from being turned into a tree. And he stands between Sarada and Hidari, and we cut to Jura saying, you crafty thing, and Hidari acknowledging Boruto as Otosuki Boruto. And that is where our chapter ends. So overall, not a lot happened. We did get some answers about Himawari, and we did get to see a little bit more of the Sarada and Hidari fight, but overall, it's a slower chapter than what we've been getting. Not that it's a bad thing, but there is one main issue I have with this chapter, and it's something I've been worried about for a little bit. I think I've mentioned it in past videos, and that is, I like to call it the Goku problem, or the Goku Vegeta problem. And that is, right now, the way the characters stand in the universe, it seems like nobody's really able to do anything, and it all falls down to Boruto. So, in some cases, it does make sense. Like, with Kawaki getting beaten up with Jura, that makes sense because it seems like Kawaki's going through a storyline where he relied too much on his karma, and because of that, he hasn't been training, and so he's gotten weaker and stuff because everyone else is just so far and above and beyond him right now, because like Boruto himself has been training all these years. He hasn't just been relying on the power of the karma, which I think is I think it's a good story for Kawaki, so I'm not too concerned about him not being able to do anything, because later on in the story, it's very obvious that Kawaki is going to get a power up or get stronger, so I'm not too worried about that. It makes sense. Plus, it's a nice foil to his story, because Kawaki hates the karma, but yet now that even though he still has it, and he says he hates it, he relies on it so much to provide him power. It's such a good part of his story. But it's mainly with the Sarada and Konohamaru aspect of the story, is that both of them got instantly destroyed by Hidari. I mean, Sarada landed the shot last chapter, but now without the element of surprise, she instantly got taken out by Hidari by one lightning release. Konohamaru couldn't land a hit, and even though he put up that protective barricade, the Wind-style Rasen barricade, he still got slammed against the wall and taken out of the fight. And it just gets to the point where it's like everyone's just kind of stalling time or waiting for Boruto to show up and save the day, which has already happened quite a bit in just the time skip alone. Which is, what I'm saying is, I'm afraid that characters like Sarada, Mitsuki, maybe even Himawari, granted Himawari is just now starting her development, but it just concerned me a little bit that these characters are never going to get the chance to shine, and they're going to continue to just be characters that Boruto has to come in and save. I mean, in this one chapter alone, Boruto saved Sarada and Himawari at the same time, essentially. And it's kind of disappointing. I was really hoping to see Sarada and Hidari just kind of get their own fight, and Sarada shows. We get to see that Sarada can keep up with the big leagues, but so far it seems like she's still not strong enough. I was really hoping the way this chapter is going to go was Hidari versus Sarada, with Sarada getting support from other Lee Shinobis like Konohamaru, that one guy who was going for the Earth style, Sumari, and then the Jura fight was going to go with Himawari and Boruto teaming up to take on Jura, but I mean, instead we got Jura destroying Himawari and Hidari taking out Sarada in one blow, and Boruto having to come in to save both of them. Granted, the way he did it is super cool. I like it. It shows just how much Boruto has been preparing for stuff like this, but it definitely does concern me for the future of the future of the manga, if we're gonna get this Goku problem with Boruto, where everyone else is just kind of there just to stall time until Boruto is able to get back into action. Because I really felt like with the whole karma situation where Boruto had to leave to get his karma under control, that was going to be the way that they write him out for a little bit to let these other characters shine, but nope. The moment there's any big trouble, they have Boruto come in and stop it. So we'll have to wait and see. We're still early in the manga. Maybe seeing these guys' powers like firsthand will give Sarada, Team 10, Himawari, Kawaki, this will give them all more realization that, like, oh man, we really need to step it up, or we need to do something because we're just outmatched. And instead of being, you know, like, sad that they're outmatched, maybe they'll see like how Boruto has basically been able to keep up with these guys despite the fact he's not even using his karma powers of the Otosuki. Maybe that'll give them hope that, like, you know, if Boruto can do it, then so can we. It'll be interesting to see, but overall, I enjoyed the chapter. Despite it being a slower one, it's not that big of an issue, but this chapter does give me slight concerns. I wouldn't say it's the first bad chapter we've had. So far, all the chapters have been good, but this chapter has definitely been the one to give me the most cause of concern, but hopefully, maybe my concerns will be addressed in chapter 12, or maybe within the next couple chapters, but we'll have to wait and see. It does seem like this conflict itself is probably going to be wrapping up by the next chapter. I'd be surprised if we really get that much. Maybe JURA will order Hidari to go ahead and leave the Leaf Village for now that Boruto's back in full action. Or maybe we're going to get a big clash of Kawaki, Boruto, Sarada, JURA, Hidari all in the Leaf Village. I don't know, this really could go a lot of different ways, because Kawaki can easily just show up and cause Boruto's karma to go back out of control. So, before I get to my wild card guess for the next chapter, let's go ahead and make sure you guys go ahead and leave your comments down below what you guys thought of the chapter. Let me know what you guys think of the whole possible Goku Vegeta problem that might be starting to manifest in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, and what you guys think about that. Maybe you guys aren't as concerned about it as I am, or maybe it's something that you're also possibly concerned about. But in terms of my wildcard guess, if I remember right, chapter 12 should be the ending chapter for volume 3 of Boruto. So usually that means it'll leave off on a big cliffhanger. So I'm gonna make a wildcard guess here that Kawaki's gonna show back up. So Boruto, Sarada, and Himawari are gonna be in the Leaf Village. JURA and Hidari are gonna JURA's gonna show up to face Boruto with Hidari, and Kawaki's gonna show up at the same time. And Kawaki's gonna cause a big issue by activating his karma, and Boruto's gonna maybe be caught in like a tree trap or something from one of the from either JURA or Hidari, which prevents him from getting away as quickly as he would want to. And this is gonna cause his karma to completely spiral, and we might finally get our first glimpse of Momoshiki in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. So I believe that the end of chapter 12 is gonna be Boruto's karma getting activated by Kawaki due to the resonance. Kawaki not caring that maybe Boruto's gonna yell at him, please don't activate your karma, please don't activate your karma. Kawaki doesn't care because he needs that power to help fight JURA and Hidari. And because of that, Momoshiki is gonna finally make his appearance in the time skip. That is my wildcard guess for next chapter. I guess we'll have to wait and see till July 20th to see what happens. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you all next time. Peace out.